What up, y'all? Today we're going to be firing up the 1965 weather wheel. Got on the bench right now because we're going to be taking it outside later to clean out the pan and the coils. I figured, what the hell, why not run the compressor? You know, you can tell the condenser is already very clean. You know, I can see through the whole thing, there's lots of airflow. Anyway, here's the AJ. Suction line's starting to get cold. That's getting hot. This thing's just got massive coils on it. Like, look at the size of these coils. Plenty of airflow through the condenser. It's already getting hot. Got the thermometer right there reading about 105 already, so it's pretty good. Simulate the 90-degree weather. We got the space heater running to simulate 90-degree air coming into the unit, because we're going to take it outside later for cleaning and testing. So here's the evaporator. So you can see this is a double evaporator, which is kind of rare on the weather, or kind of unusual on other classic air conditioners. While these are pretty common, the old Fetters. Got that there. There you can see you got your wiring and controls. Got your thermostat. Now, by the way, this is a temporary setup until I can get the fan motor repaired, because the fan motor crapped out quite some time ago. Run cap likely failed, and also the motor windings are shot, so we're gonna have to get that rewound in order for it to be used again. Suction line all nice and cold and sweaty. Discharge is nice and hot, so that's some good news there. And this thing is just blowing ice cold. This thing is doing fabulous. Despite the nice warm air coming into the evaporators, we got it set up at about the distance where it'd be about like 90 degrees going in, and we got about like 30s coming out already. This thing builds up pressure pretty quick, and it gets ice cold in a matter of seconds. So temporary setup, we got two mainstays, high velocity fans. 9-inch models, temporarily working the condenser and the evaporator until I get the fan motor repaired. Yeah, compressor sounds pretty healthy. It's a classic Tecumseh AJ. Model information's right here, 040E19. It's got an Emerson motor made on first shift, H3165. So this is made on August 31st, 1965. Compressor serial number 720862. 115 volts on 60 hertz. 100 volts on 50 hertz. Single phase. AJM 15-94 is the model number. Locked rotor amps 45.0. So what that means is if the compressor should stall out, or if the compressor is dying, or the compressor cap is dying, what's going to happen is that's going to be the rotor amps the compressor is going to take to try to get going again. And plus, these PSC motors have pretty high starting amperage as well. So yeah, this compressor and the compressor and the fan motor are both PSC. These are your motor leads right here. Well, actually, these are your motor leads for your for the capacitor. So dual run. So run capacitor looks a lot. This is the original one, by the way, and it's still in good working order. You can see that there's no bulges or anything on it. This capacitor is almost 58 years old, And you can tell there's no damage done to it whatsoever. Terminals aren't blacked out or anything. So yeah, this is AJM compressor, and this is a pretty big one too. It's about the size of your typical older air conditioner compressors. You can see that right here. Here's the height of there's how big my hand is. I got pretty big hands, and weld seam is literally just right before my wrist. And then the compressor height itself goes right up to about right here. So pretty big compressor. It's one of the bigger models. Now the cool thing about this compressor is it consists of what's called an anti-slug feature. So I'm going to give you a little bit of history about the Tecumseh AJM, or about the AJ compressor, and why it's so special to us air conditioner collectors, you know, including myself, myself and other guys, air conditioner guy, he's got something very similar to this. His is a 14,000 though, it's a 220. But mine here is a 12,000 BTU on 115 volts. See, on a standard outlet right there. So that suction line all nice and sweaty. So we're simulating the 90-degree air coming into the air conditioner, and that is blowing out. That's blowing out really cold. So even for a 90-degree setup here, using the ceramic heater, that's bringing in about 90 to 100 degrees. Literally outside, it literally feels like 100 degrees outside. So we're actually simulating the actual outdoor environment that's going to be in later when we bring it out for cleaning. The evaporators are all nice and sweaty. It's a whole coil, so this thing's got a full charge. They're all nice and sweaty. That's exactly what we're looking for. So you guys can see right there, if I just do that, those are cold and moist. So yeah, double two-row evaporator, which makes this thing really unique. Because a lot of air conditioner collectors are always seeing a lot of cool stuff about these weather wheels. Not only for the grill, which I do have part of one here that I found while I was out on the Bloom. This is the actual weather wheel, so we're gonna fix this one up the best we can. We'll try to see if we can actually find one that'll fit mine, unless I can find a grill for it. So yeah, there's the compressor. So now, in order to tell if your air conditioner's compressor is working properly, I'm going to give you guys some tips here on what I learned about air conditioning compressors. So, the thing with an air conditioning compressor is on a reciprocating compressor, especially one like the Tecumseh AJ, Tecumseh AH, where the piston are pistons. AH is a twin cylinder. The AJs are single, by the way. So in order to tell if your air conditioner's compressor is working, vintage units like this one, is you want to feel the head of the compressor, and it should be cold. Head of this compressor is cold, which means that the compressor is working properly. And you can see the suction line is all nice and sweaty coming in, and it's nice and hot going out the discharge. And also you can see a lot of sweat on the compressor, which means that the compressor is working. And when you feel the bottom of a reciprocating like this, it should feel warm to cold. Now, if it's cold all the way around, you're probably running it in a cold environment. But because we're simulating the outdoor air temperature right now, this thing is working pretty swell. So I'm feeling right down here, and it's just lukewarm. And that's what you want. You want it to be about lukewarm. So the compressor isn't running terribly hot. It's actually running pretty cool. It's all nice and cold up around the head and over on this side here. And there should be a pretty big difference in temperature, when the unit is running. So we're gonna feel it's coming out the condenser. That's running pretty close. And these, by the way, these smaller fans, they don't really do much. They're not as powerful as this one, but they're still working. We still got airflow and everything out the condenser. Running almost 150, so we're running about 145, which is probably what it would be running in a hot environment. It's even on full power. This thing ran nice and hot. But it's ice cold on the suction, which is good. So it's working properly. So what we're going to do, we're going to let you listen to the compressor here. This is the June 2023 test. So we're going to go ahead and shut the fans off here. Sounding pretty healthy right there. So this is the actual air, this is the outdoor air temperature simulation effect. So we're running it in the actual outdoor air temperature, since we're using a space heater to simulate this. So now we're going to go ahead and shut the heater off. And we're going to see if there's any noticeable difference in running it in the shop environment. So that just shut off. And give that a minute, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so we gave it about a minute, and it's doing really well because the air temperature is super cold coming out the evaporator. If I had a temp gun on me right now, we'd be able to take some measurements. But even in the 90-degree simulation, we're going to go ahead and re-simulate that. So we're going to move it a little further back because this thing was nice and hot. And it's working perfectly. The weather wheel was very content, even running in the actual 90-degree air temperature, which we are simulating that, just using the heater. And this just goes to show how reliable these things really are. You know, they'll blow ice cold and impress no matter what. So this just goes to show how good these air conditioners really are. You know, for being such large machines, you know, being, you know, high capacity like this and having reciprocating compressors, this just goes to show how well built these things really are. And this thing's just an incredible machine. It's doing fabulous. It's nice and content. As you can tell, the compressor sounds fantastic. This Tecumseh AJ is very content right now. Airflow coming out the vent, our little vent here, is ice cold. Evap all nice and sweaty like it should be. Condenser, let's see how hot it is. That's pretty stable, right around 145, 150 in the outdoor 90-degree outdoor air temperature setting. So that's pretty good. You know, so that's about 50 to 60 degrees hotter. You know, that's about 50 degrees hotter, you know, coming out, which is really where it should be. Now, if the regular fan were in there, then we'd have some slightly different results because of the size of the unit, this being a 12,000, you know, but look at that. That is what we should have right there. If your AC suction line is not sweaty when it's running, then there's a problem. But yep, there it is. 1965 weather wheel. Running very happy. She's content. Compressor sounds fantastic. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you for when we bring her outside and give her yearly TLC. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed.